Most people think they'd handle an attack fine. They won't. Under pressure, your body runs instinct first, and instinct gets people hit. Here are 7 common attack situations where instinct gets people hurt and what to do instead. 1. The sucker punch. You're close to someone arguing. Their voice climbs, their hands start moving. The mistake almost everyone makes is to stand flat-footed and square, hands down, and keep arguing, leaning in as it heats up. Why? That gets you dropped. A sucker punch works because your guard is down and your weight is still, so by the time you see it, it's landed. Nobody blocks a punch they didn't see coming, and trying to outreact one is a coin flip you'll lose. So, don't react to the punch. Kill it before it's thrown. The second their energy flips, voice sharpening, chest squaring, hands chopping the air, bring your hands up open and high, palms out at chin level, like you're saying easy. It reads as calm, it's the opposite. Now there's a barrier in the exact lane the punch travels. Your hands are already by your head, and as you raise them, you step back and to the side, rebuilding the distance the punch needs. Watch where you step to, backing blindly into a wall, a curb, or a second person turns your escape into a trap. Learn the tells, because the punch is rarely the first move. The glance around for witnesses, the sudden step in, the random question meant to freeze you for half a second. The advantage, a blind ambush becomes something you can see and slip, and the punch loses the only thing that made it dangerous: surprise. If they swing anyway, don't stand and trade. Tuck behind those raised hands and keep stepping off the line, so even a clean shot glances instead of landing flush. The instant you've slipped it, get loud and create space. A sharp back-off does 2 things. It can freeze a hesitant attacker, and it flags witnesses that you're the one being threatened. 2. Pinned against a wall or a car. The distance is gone, your back's against something solid, and they're driving their weight into you. Instinct says shove straight back with both stiff arms. That fails fast. It's now a strength contest against someone bigger and already braced, and stiff arming dumps your weight onto your heels, so the moment they pull or swing, you fold. Worse, a wall pin is often the setup to bounce your head off it, so the first half second is critical. Chin down, head forward, off the surface, before they load anything. The wall is killing your movement, and movement is your only weapon, so don't push, frame, and turn. Drive one forearm across as a wedge between your chest and theirs. Pin one of their arms so they can't swing the free hand. Then pivot your hips and rotate along the wall instead of away from it. You're swapping places. Stay heavy and low through the turn. A dropped, wide base is hard to slam or lift, and it lets you drive your shoulder into them so they lose balance, not you. The advantage: instead of moving a heavier person backward, you move yourself around them and leave them facing the wall. A turn uses your whole frame and their momentum. A push uses only your arms, and your arms lose that trade every time. The instant they're on the wall, that's your window to peel off and move. If the pin is too tight to turn at all, a sharp short strike, a hammer to the groin, or a stomp to the instep buys the inch of slack you need to start the rotation. Anything that makes them flinch loosens the wall. 3. The front choke or two-hand grab. Hands clamp onto your throat or collar from the front. Panic hits because your brain screams you can't breathe, so people claw at the wrists and try to pry the hands off with grip strength. That's attacking the strongest part of their attack with your weakest tool. 2 locked hands beat 2 peeling ones, especially once adrenaline kills your fine motor control, and while you fight the wrists, you're getting walked back or hit with the free hand. First, drop your chin hard to your chest. It shields your airway and the arteries in your neck, and buys the half second you need to act instead of freeze. Then don't fight the grip. Break the structure holding it up. Throw one arm straight up and over the top of both of theirs in a hard circle, while you turn your body away and drop your weight. That snaps the line of their arms far easier than prying fingers, because you're using your spine and legs against their wrists, not hand against hand. A gross motor move that still fires when your hands are shaking. A real strangle gives you seconds, not minutes, so move on the first beat. The longer you wait, the weaker you get. The advantage: you break the choke with a motion panic can't ruin. The turn pulls your throat off the line of their hands, and it opens a gap. Use that gap to get distance and get out, not to admire the escape and square back up. As you rip the arm over, snap your chest forward and shout. Driving the air out adds real power to the break and resets your own breathing the second the hands come off. 4. The shove into a clinch. They shove you hard, the bodies crash together, and now you're chest to chest, both grabbing. The mistake is trying to win the exchange, throwing big looping punches from inside the tangle like you're sparring at range. It fails because there's no room to make power that close. Swinging wild leaves your head wide open, and your base is already wrecked from the collision. This is where sport habits get people hurt. A clean boxing trade is the wrong tool when you're tangled, leaning, and off balance. The clinch is a place to escape, not to win. First, fix your head. Chin down, forehead pressed into their collarbone or shoulder so they can't land uppercuts or headbutts. Then get your frame back. Forearms in as a wedge, weight drop to root your base so you can't be dragged down or thrown. If you can, dig one arm under theirs and clamp it to your side. That underhook controls their posture and kills their power shot. If you have to strike to make room, forget big punches. Short elbows and headbutts are the only tools with power at that range, and they're gross motor enough to work blind. Then step a foot out wide and angle off their center line. The advantage: instead of fighting through their strength, you peel off the side where they're weak and break the tie-up they were counting on. Don't reach for fancy trips or takedowns from in there. That's a gamble against a stronger person. If their hands drop to your hips or legs for a takedown, widen your stance and sprawl your weight back over them, then return to framing and stepping out. 5. Grabbed by the wrist and dragged. Someone snatches your wrist and pulls you toward a corner, a car, somewhere worse. Instinct says pull straight back in a dead tug-of-war, the exact fight they want, because a grip is strongest pulling against a straight line. So if they're bigger, you just lose the rope, and you get so locked onto the wrist that you stop watching their other hand. If they've grabbed with both hands, reach through, grip your own escaping fist with your free hand, and rip it out through the thumb gap, two arms beating their two thumbs. Drop your level. As you rip, bending your knees and sinking your weight puts your whole body behind the escape, instead of just your shoulder, which is what makes it work when they outweigh you. As you circle out, keep facing them and step so you never get pulled past their shoulder and behind their control. The advantage: you escape with leverage instead of strength, so it works against someone bigger, and stepping to the side instantly kills their plan to move you. The grab was never the real plan, moving you somewhere was, and you just shut it down. Treat being dragged toward a car as the worst case it is. Never let yourself be moved to a second location. Stay loud, stay put, and fight hardest right there, because wherever they want to take you is always worse than where you are now. 6. Knocked to the ground. You trip, get shoved, or take a shot and land on your back with them standing over you or dropping down. Panic makes people do two things wrong: flail their arms up at the person or scramble straight up onto their feet right in front of the attacker. Both get you hurt worse. Reaching up hands them your arms to control, and standing straight up leaves you bent over and blind the instant you rise. Instead, roll onto your side. Never stay flat on your back. Point the soles of your feet at them like a shield so your legs, your strongest limbs, sit between you and the threat, and keep one forearm up to cover your head from stomps. If they try to step around your legs to get past your shield, pivot on your back and hips to keep your feet pointed at them the entire time. The moment they get around your legs, you've lost the position. Kick at their knees and shins, not up at their hands. A hard low kick can buckle a leg and is almost impossible to grab. Use it to keep them off and build space, then stand smart. Post one hand and the opposite foot. Kick your other leg through behind you, and come up already turned toward them with your hands up. Never head first and folded over. The advantage: your legs hit harder than their arms. Your vulnerable targets stay tucked behind them, and you only get up once you've made a gap. If they climb on top, don't just punch up. Trap one arm in the same side leg. Then bridge your hips hard to roll them off. Elbows tight to your head. Never curl into a ball hoping it ends. A static turtle just lets them tee off. Every second down there is spent either making space or getting back to your feet. Protect your head above everything else. A stomp or kick to the skull is the real danger down there, far more than their hands, so your covering arm never drops until you're standing. 7. The second attacker. You're handling one person, and another steps in from the side. This is the situation that breaks almost everything people train. The mistake is staying locked onto the first guy. Head down, fully committed, maybe dragging it to the ground to finish him. The second you fixate on one person or hit the floor, you're blind and stuck for the other. And on the ground against two, you have almost no chance. This is the clearest proof that winning the fight was never the goal. Against numbers, the only thing that keeps you safe is movement and position. Never stand between two threats. Keep circling, so one of them is always lined up directly behind the other. You stack them, so only the front one can reach you, and point every step toward the exit, open space, light, or other people. Keep your head up and scanning even while you deal with the first one, because tunnel vision on a single attacker is exactly how the second one lands the shot you never saw. The advantage? You turn a 2-on-1 into a string of 1-on-1s, and all that footwork carries you toward the way out. The same rule scales. 3 or more, you keep stacking and keep moving. And when more than one closes in, assume a weapon could appear. The urge to teach someone a lesson is exactly what gets you stabbed. Pick the gap, not the fight, and leave the second you have a lane. Once that lane opens, commit fully. Don't slow down, don't look back, don't circle in for one more shot. Hesitating at the exit is how people get pulled back into a fight they'd already escaped. Look at the pattern. The wrong move feels natural. Push, pull, freeze, plant your feet, fight harder. The right move is smaller and smarter. Manage distance, frame, turn, hit the weak point, move to the exit. Win the first 2 seconds, and you've already won the part that matters.